Sportscast, and I'm coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. And I just kind of recently noticed that I did not go over two games this week, as I said I was going to. I was going to go over Monday night's game, and I didn't go over Thursday night's game. So we're going to do that. So hopefully everybody has had a fantastic week so far. Thus far, it was a great week of football. It was a great week of just highlights, great plays, great comebacks, great stories. So I hope everybody's enjoyed their week so far and enjoyed week one back in the NFL and the start of week two. So we'll start with week one's game, which was the Minnesota Vikings going into Chicago to play the Bears. So for this game, I had the Minnesota Vikings and was very worried in the first 3.5 quarters. As you know, in my breakdown video for week two, if you've watched it, I had referenced that J.J. McCarthy did his best Josh Allen impression because, it was very similar in the way of what had happened, right? And so my buddy Juice, was, he's in one of my fantasy leagues. He was down against my mom because we're in a family league, kind of family and friends league here. And he was going against my mom, and he was down going into the Monday night game. And so I'm texting him, I'm like, dude, I don't know. J.J. McCarthy's not looking too good. And then all of a sudden, bang, he hits Justin Jefferson, who he also had or has, hits Justin Jefferson for a touchdown. I'm like, oh, man, dude, he might start to heat up, right? And then bang, he hits Aaron Jones for a touchdown. I'm like, oh, dude, turn on the game. You got to see this. And then he runs in his zone. I'm like, oh, my God, you have to turn on the game. You have to look at this. This dude's going off right now. So very, very exciting for J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, his first official NFL game. Didn't play much during the preseason, so the Minnesota Vikings would take this game 27-24. Now, on the flip side of that, Caleb Williams looked really good, right? I mean, he started the game like 10 for 10, and then kind of fell off after that. I'm not sure what happened, but he kind of fell off that after 10 for 10, and he didn't perform very well after that. So we'll just kind of go over some stats and everything of the game. So J.J. McCarthy ended up with 143 passing yards, 2 TDs and 1 interception, and a 65% completion percentage. Not terrible, but like majority of that came from the fourth quarter. Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones also did well. Jordan Mason had 68 rushing yards on 15 attempts, and Aaron Jones had 3 receptions with 44 yards, and one of those being a touchdown. Again, you know the drill. I'm just kind of getting off work here. And then Justin Jefferson, for those of you who are wondering, had 4 receptions for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. So him and Aaron Jones were very similar. If you're counting it toward PPR leagues, or if you're in a PPR league, obviously Justin Jefferson had one more reception, but the equal amount of yards, and also had a touchdown. So they looked good, and we'll run over to the Bears stats here real quick. So like I said, Caleb Williams had started 10 for 10. Ultimately, for the rest of the game, he ended up 21 of 35 with a 60% completion percentage. So I'm not sure what happened. Watching the game, and I was actually streaming the game and everything, and I'm like, man, like he looks really good, and he was making all the right reads, and he was making just these great passes, and then all of a sudden it just seemed like something flipped, and he was like, I don't know how to play football anymore, or my receivers aren't catching anything. It was very much just an unnatural kind of thing. So he ended up with 1 touchdown. The defense had another touchdown. But he also had a rushing touchdown. So he threw 1, ran 1, and then the defense had 1. So there's your 21 of 24 points. Let's see, DeAndre Swift, 17 attempts for 53 yards. So not great. He only averaged about 3 yards a carry. I will say that the Vikings defense was really, both defenses were really putting on like all night. They were doing fantastic. I mean, really holding, making it a very defensive game in the beginning. DJ Moore ended up with 3 receptions and 68 yards. Not terrible. Zacchaeus, 4 receptions, 42 yards. Yeah, it wasn't great. The defense is really what made this game the best. Or not the best, made it what it was. So a lot of work going into week 2. Minnesota has Atlanta at home, so they're playing at home. So hopefully they can find some ground, and JJ McCarthy can build off of what he did in that fourth quarter against the Bears. Chicago got a tough game this week. Who does Chicago have? Chicago has I know it, guys. Don't tell me. I'm going to have to look, though, and I hate that I have to look. I mean, I'm going to be talking about week 2 anyways. Chicago has... Come on. Detroit. Okay. That's right. Chicago has Detroit. So both teams coming off a loss. So that's right. Ben Johnson going against his former team. So we'll see how that works out. Starting off the year with 2 divisional matchups is tough in itself. The next game that we're going to talk about a little bit is going to be the Thursday night game that just occurred. What's today? Friday. So last night. And that was the Washington Commanders going into Green Bay, into a whiteout Green Bay to play the Packers. And man, let me tell you, like, a world of difference of, how Washington played week 1 to how they played week 2. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. So it just goes to show you, like, how good Green Bay is, and 2, and how serious Green Bay is, and 2, really kind of how good Washington is. I mean, a few of their points came in garbage time at the end of the game, but the final score of this one was Green Bay taking it 27-18. And news out of this game, so we lost 2 people for the remainder of the season. If you guys are fantasy owners of these 2 guys, so Austin Eckler is going to be out for the rest of the season with a torn Achilles, and Jaden Reed is going to be out for the rest of the season. Sorry. Out for the rest of the season with a broken collarbone. So if you guys are fantasy owners, those are 2 guys that you're going to look to replace. So looking at this, Jaden Daniels, 24 of 42 with 200 yards, a 57% completion percentage, and 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 4 times. He had an overall rating of 85%. The Packers defense was on it, man. I mean, there was just no doubt about it. The Packers defense was just on it. The addition of Micah Parsons is incredible. If you haven't, and I'm sure somebody else already has in your fantasy league, gone to pick up the Packers defense, I mean, probably not a bad move. I mean, I think they scored about 5 points this week, which isn't great, right? You start off with 10, they get half that, but one of these games they're really going to pop off, and especially, I mean, as the season continues, they're going to be able to play more consistently. Austin Eckler, 8 attempts, 17 yards. Again, he tore his Achilles. So looking over to Krosky Merritt, which 4 attempts for 17 yards as well. So he was moving the ball a little bit more. Wow. All 3 Washington rushers had 17 yards. So Zach Ertz was your top receiver, followed by McLaurin and Debo. Zach Ertz and Debo did get into the end zone. Again, guys, I'm so sorry. This is just a late night session for me. Did get into the end zone. Now let's look at the Packers here. Now, again, this was fantastic. I mean, Jordan Love is turning out to be a fantastic quarterback. I mean, we saw how good he was last year, and then, taking the torch from Aaron Rodgers is not an easy thing to do, especially when we saw that Rodgers was so successful, stat-wise at least, in Green Bay. Maybe not postseason-wise, but at least stat-wise. So 19 of 31 for 292 yards, almost 300 yards, 61% completion percentage. That's okay. That's probably roughly average. 2 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. Now here's the big stat. Let me get some water real quick. Also, shout out to my boys in Syracuse for taking down Colgate today, 66-24. Taking care of business. 113% passer rating. Fantastic. Very rarely, on the edge of, perfect. I mean, obviously he had some incompletions, but fantastic game. Josh Jacobs, 23 attempts for 84 yards and a touchdown. That is roughly about 3.5 yards a carry, which is it's okay. Now we're looking at this. Now we're looking at this guy. Man, if you had Tucker Kraft in your fantasy league, you are a happy camper. This was the guy of the night for Thursday Night Football. If Thursday Night Football gave out MVPs, Tucker Kraft would be the MVP of Thursday Night Football for Week 2. 6 receptions, 124 yards, and 1 touchdown. Dude was absolutely going off. It was amazing. So this is probably a guy that if you haven't picked him up in fantasy, you probably want to, because there's not a whole lot of tight ends, and Tucker Kraft out here showing people like, hey, I'm one of the top tight ends in the league. Come look at me. But Wicks had 44 yards, Heath 37, Musgrave 32, Dobbs 28 and a touchdown. Brooks 27, and Golden didn't have any. But Matthew Golden did have 15 rushing yards. So great game out of the Packers. Good hard-fought game by the Commanders. So now the Packers are 2-0. They're 2-0 to start their season. As the heel said, you're starting out with 2 home games. You might lose those at the back end of the season when you really want them, especially in Green Bay. But these were fantastic games, Monday and Thursday. So now we're getting ready for the Sunday slate. I've already made my picks, but I just want to take the time out. If you haven't, go and follow the BG Pick'ems on ESPN. You can find the link on the video, on my videos, my pick videos. You can also find the link on our social media pages. So if you want to follow along with picks for week in, week out, for KFR Sportscast, and just kind of join me in some friendly competition. Listen, week 1, I did terrible. I went 9-7. Not great. It's above 500, but it's not where I want to be. I want to be at least double digits. I want to be in that 10-6 range, 11-5, somewhere around in there. And I wasn't. So looking for a bounce back week here in week 2 with my picks. Also want to take a big shout out to Dad Gang here. If you want to support dads, or you have a dad in your life that you want to show and support and love, and he may want a hat like this. This is their corduroy city edition. So you can see over here we got the "If you know, you know." But on this side, we have a nice little New York apple on the other side. So dope hats, and I also got this one. Here's another one, another special one that I got right here. This red, white, and blue one. I got this, so there's a lot of big meanings behind the red, white, and blue for me. Not just America, but sports wise as well. So, but yeah, guys, hey, that's going to wrap it up for this live. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to me just chat it up about NFL football for a little bit. Let me know if you want to join. I'm always here to take on some healthy conversation. If anybody ever wants to collab and jump on one of these with me at night, make sure you stay tuned because I will be live streaming the Tampa Bay and Houston game Monday night. I will be live streaming it. So if you want to watch it and you want to see me hyped up, jump in. It's going to be great. It's going to be hilarious. But other than that, guys, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Follow KFR Sportscast at KFR SPRTS Cast. We got new episodes every week. Obviously, we're going to be dropping these lives every week. But other than that, man, I'll talk to you guys later. Until next time.